Revealed, the incredible moment a billionaire discovers his business partner is actually his HEA. Matt Hawthorne stood in his plush penthouse, staring out at the city skyline, a glittering tapestry of lights shimmering with promise. But those flickering stars felt like a cruel reminder of what he lacked. Despite being a self-made billionaire, revered for his tech achievements and philanthropy, a profound emptiness gnawed at him. The soft hum of his luxurious surroundings only deepened his isolation, each silent moment echoing the absence of meaningful connection. In the heart of the city, miles away from his penthouse, Sarah Jensen crouched on the sidewalk, wrapping her arms around her two children as they laughed and played near the community center. It was a vibrant hub where love and resilience intertwined, where neighbors gathered and hopes blossomed, despite budget cuts threatening its very existence. Every day, she fought tirelessly to keep the place open for those who relied on it, the families, the kids. Each moment was heavy, etched with the burdens of motherhood and the weight of her mission. Their worlds collided when Matt and Sarah were assigned to oversee a project to revitalize their hometown. The meeting was charged, like static electricity in the air. As Sarah laid out her vision, heartfelt and community-focused, Matt's corporate methods clashed with her ideals. "This isn't just a business deal," she snapped, her eyes glinting with frustration. "This is about the people. You can't just bulldoze in." Matt felt a tightening in his chest. He wasn't here to bulldoze, he wanted to help. But he couldn't shake her perception wealth made him a villain in this story. For Sarah, every word from him was laced with privilege. Tension hung thick between them as their arguments became a storm, pushing them closer together and apart, igniting sparks that flickered beneath the surface. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But as they clashed, emotions peeled back like layers of an onion, revealing vulnerabilities. Both burdened by hidden traumas, they vented their frustrations at each other, unwilling yet inexplicably drawn towards the untapped connection simmering underneath. When tragedy struck, the fabric of their lives began to unravel. A devastating loss revealed hidden family secrets for Matt, while threats loomed over Sarah's beloved community center, forcing them both to examine everything they'd taken for granted. In their moments of vulnerability, a bittersweet solidarity blossomed amid shared despair. Each revelation echoed louder than before, interweaving their paths in ways neither could have anticipated. Standing on that precipice, facing the shadows of betrayal and realizing the truths hidden in the past, they could either succumb to despair or rise in unison. As they stood together, the looming question remained: could love truly grow in the ashes of discord, and would they be brave enough to shatter the walls that had kept them apart? The possibilities stretched before them like the city glimmering at dusk, beckoning them forward, holding secrets waiting to be uncovered. A few days after their fraught meeting, Matt found himself walking through the community center. The once vibrant building now bore the weight of faded murals and peeling paint, but he noticed something that struck him: a small group of children painting a large mural, their faces lit with joy. It was a stark contrast to the heavy discussions about budgets and timelines that filled his days. A sense of unease settled in his gut. Who was he to dictate what happened to this place? He spotted Sarah in the corner, intensely focused on coordinating a group of volunteers who were demolishing a terrible old shed out back. She didn't notice him at first, but when she finally did, her expression darkened. "What are you doing here?" she questioned, hands on her hips. "I came to see for myself what this place means to people," he replied, his voice steady as he took a step closer. The harshness in her tone softened slightly, but the tension remained. "I don't need your charity, Matt," she snapped back, though there was a flicker of curiosity in her eyes. "It's about more than charity," he affirmed, feeling the weight of their previous arguments pressing down on him. I want to invest in the community, but I need your input. You know what people really need here. Sarah seemed to hesitate, caught between her instincts and a growing temptation to take him at his word. Do you truly mean that? She challenged, tilting her head. Or is this just a PR fix for you? I thought I could show you, he said softly, stepping closer again. I have skills that might help you, not just money. As they locked eyes, a moment of understanding flickered between them. They both recognized the struggle. The comfortable lives they led felt like screens hiding the truths underneath. Before she could respond, the door swung open, and a rush of children filled the space, laughter vibrating against the walls. Matt noticed how Sarah's face lit up, how her tension evaporated, replaced by the urgency of engaging the kids. Come on, everyone. She called, clapping her hands to gather them around. He watched as she transformed, flinging herself into a world where limitations faded. It tugged at his heart. He wanted to join her, to peel back layers of his own guarded existence. Later, as he helped clean up, Matt stood beside Sarah. They talked, truly talked for the first time. The barriers began to crack. She shared stories of the center, a haven for kids like her own, dreams woven in the fabric of daily life. He opened up about his childhood, the pressures of wealth, and the void it created. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shifted. Sarah pointed toward a graffiti tag on the wall that read, "Hope lives here." "That's what we need more of," she stated, looking straight into his eyes. "Not just in words, but actions." Matt nodded slowly, feeling a fierce determination to help her turn that hope into reality. As they created plans for their collaborative efforts, laughter echoed around them. But just as they were finding their rhythm, a dark shadow loomed ahead. Matt received a call that shattered the moment. A rival company was planning to develop the land for high-rises, threatening the center and everything they had worked for. "It's not just about us now," he stated, urgency flooding his voice. "We have to protect this place." Sarah's face hardened once again, but this time with resolve. "Then let us do it. Together." Could they harness their newfound connection to face a common enemy? Or would their pasts pull them apart instead? As the sun dipped below the horizon, the city lights flickered to life, and the future was uncertain once more. The next morning, Matt stood in front of his bathroom mirror, the harsh fluorescent light illuminating his worry lines. He had a plan, but it felt shaky, like trying to balance on a tightrope with nothing below to catch him. How could he convince the board of his company to support a struggling community center? And more importantly, how could he secure Sarah's trust? She was more than just a partner now, she was the embodiment of everything he had begun to admire. After a quick breakfast, he grabbed his phone and sent a message to Sarah. They needed to meet somewhere outside the chaos of the center. A neutral ground where they could brainstorm without interruptions. The park nearby seemed perfect. It had a small lake, playgrounds, and plenty of space to talk freely. Sarah responded quickly, her agreement lighting up his screen. He felt a flicker of excitement, mingled with nerves. As he arrived, he spotted her sitting on a bench, sunlight filtering through the budding leaves, casting playful shadows on her face. She looked at peace, a stark contrast to the stormy tension that had marked their last few meetings. "Hey," he said, trying to sound casual as he approached. "Hey," she replied, her eyes narrowing slightly as she gauged his demeanor. Matt took a seat next to her, forcing himself to exhale slowly. "I know things got complicated yesterday," he started, his voice steady despite the butterflies in his stomach. "But I really want to do something about the center. I've been thinking, what if we organized a community event? Something fun that pulls everyone together? We could use that as a platform to raise awareness and support." Sarah raised an eyebrow, clearly skeptical. "And what exactly would you offer? A bunch of banners and a few speeches?" His heart raced at her pointed comment, but he pressed forward. "No, I want to give more than that. Real resources. Planners, volunteers, maybe even a fundraising committee from my company. If we can show people how much this center means to the community, we could get the right people on board. For a moment, silence hung between them, thick like the air before a storm. Sarah's expression softened, uncertainty flickering behind her eyes. Are you really willing to put your money where your mouth is? Because it's going to take more than just good intentions. Absolutely, Matt declared, a conviction burning in his chest. This place is vital. I can't just sit back and let it disappear. You're right, I've only seen the surface of what this community needs. She studied him, her gaze piercing. Okay. Let us say I believe you for now. What's the first step? His mind raced with possibilities. Let us plan a festival. Food, games, music. It could be a celebration of this community. We can invite local businesses to participate and showcase what they provide. The words spilled out, fueled by adrenaline. A light sparkled in Sarah's eyes, a flicker of hope that ignited his soul. That could work. We can get the kids involved. Maybe even have them create something for the festival. Yes. He couldn't contain the smile spreading across his face. But just as the current of optimism wove through the air, his phone buzzed. It was a message from his company, activating a new sense of dread. A meeting was scheduled for the following day concerning the potential development of the land without any input from the community. His stomach sank. I have another meeting tomorrow, he said, the weight of his responsibility seeping into his voice. It might change everything we're trying to build here. What do you mean? Sarah tilted her head, a mixture of frustration and concern washing over her features. I need to convince the board that we can't just push papers around. This is about people, about lives. If they won't listen, it could mean the end for the community center. Then let us fight it, she replied fiercely. Together. But you have to promise me you won't back down. Promise, he vowed, a surge of determination rising in him. The shadows around them began to shift as dusk neared, colors deepening in the sky. They were beginning to bond over something bigger than themselves. But Matt couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing at the edge of a precipice, and what waited on the other side could change everything. As they stood up, their resolve strengthened. Matt's heart raced again, not with fear but with an exhilarating uncertainty. What would tomorrow bring? Would he and Sarah truly be capable of taking on a massive corporation? Or was this just the beginning of an uphill battle? Matt couldn't shake the tightness in his chest as he and Sarah headed back toward the park's entrance, each grounded in the weight of their agreement. The path was quiet, save for the rustle of leaves and the distant laughter of children. Matt felt a sense of solidarity building between them, but the gnawing uncertainty about the meeting the next day loomed larger. Do you think it'll really make a difference? He asked abruptly, pulling Sarah from her contemplative state. If we present the festival idea to the board? They might just laugh us off. Laugh? Maybe, Sarah replied, her voice steady. Or maybe they'll see it as an opportunity. You need to remember, you have the power to make them listen. They have to understand that there are people behind the numbers. Matt could only nod, feeling more resolute seeing that fire in her eyes. How could just an idea become a movement? He felt it could if they played their cards right and galvanized the community. As he envisioned everything, a smile flickered across his face. What if we got some local artists involved? A mural or something to reflect the community spirit, he suggested, warming to the idea. Make it an art showcase at the festival. It could elevate everything. Yes. That's great. She exclaimed, a new spark lighting her eyes. Art can inspire. Plus, it's a way to bring in families and kids. They'll feel ownership. They'll see the center as their space. The excitement was real, wrapping around them like a blanket as they brainstormed together. Every idea flowed seamlessly into the next, a collaborative rhythm, a dance of optimism and purpose. But as they approached the park's exit, Matt's phone buzzed again. His heart dropped. It was another notification from his company, a reminder about the meeting tomorrow. His palms felt clammy as he reviewed the details. He needed to come prepared, but also, he sensed this wasn't just business. "Hey, what is going on?" Sarah asked when she noticed his sudden stillness. I don't know if I can pull this off," he murmured, frustration creeping into his tone. "What if they don't get it, Sarah? What if I fail?" "Failure is a part of trying. But it's what you do after failure that counts. Listen, I don't want you to let fear dictate your choices. Remember, those kids and families are counting on you." She placed a hand on his arm, grounding him. Her touch ignited something in him, stirring a mix of unease and warmth. He met her gaze, searching for the strength he needed in her unwavering eyes. "I'll do it," he stated firmly. "I'll fight for this." "Good," she replied, a glimmer of pride dancing across her features. "Then we'll take it step by step. Tomorrow is just one day out of many. We build from there." As they parted ways, Matt's spirits lifted slightly. The sun had set completely, painting the sky in a deep indigo, but he felt that a spark had been ignited inside him. It wasn't only about the festival or his company's approval, it was about the community they aimed to uplift. The risk, the potential disappointment, they were all worth it for this purpose. That night, restlessness chased him as he paced the floor of his apartment. Thoughts spiraled around the images of families gathering at the community center, laughter, art, connection. He needed to make it happen, but what if that meeting was a disaster? The thought clawed at him, but there was also something deeper buried beneath his fear. What if he found himself surrounded by support he never knew existed? As he drifted into a restless sleep, he couldn't shake one last thought: if things went south tomorrow, would he be brave enough to stand up and fight with everything he had? It was a question that lingered as the dawn arrived, bringing with it the weight of decisions and the promise of a new beginning. Would he discover an ally in the boardroom, or would he find only walls? The morning light streamed through Matt's window, illuminating the cluttered remnants of his late-night deliberation. Empty coffee mugs littered the tables, a testament to his anxiety and determination woven together. He rubbed his eyes, still grappling with the remnants of sleep, but today felt different. He could feel it buzzing through the air. This was a day that could change everything. Arriving at the office, the hum of activity surrounded him. The office buzzed with the anticipation of the upcoming meeting. Matt could hear snippets of conversation from colleagues discussing market trends, the latest quarterly performance, and yet all he could think about was the festival. His heart raced. He wanted to harness that energy, turn it into something real, but he knew he had to channel it wisely. "Matt!" called out his friend Jamie, rushing up to him, her curly hair bouncing with her movements. "You ready for this?" Matt forced a grin, "Ready as I'll ever be." "Just remember, you've got this," she said, her voice laced with encouragement. "You sound super passionate about it. That counts for something in there." He appreciated her faith, but it wasn't enough to quell the steadiness of his heartbeat. There would be no turning back once he stepped into that boardroom. As he entered, he was struck by the sight of the assembled board members' stern faces, tightly scripted agendas, and an air of judgment. His throat felt dry. This wasn't just about numbers and budgets, it was about lives, families, and the vibrancy of the community that meant everything to him. Matt took a deep breath and launched into his presentation. Each slide felt like a heartbeat echoing his intentions. He spoke passionately about the festival, about how it could unite the community, inspire creativity, and engage families. He shared ideas for local art, music, and cultural showcases, all elements aimed at rekindling the spirit that once filled their town. A few heads nodded along the way. That small acknowledgement gave him hope, driving him forward. But as he finished, silence hung in the air, thick and heavy. "Interesting concept," said Mr. Barnes, the senior board member, his glasses perched low on his nose. "But do you really think this will deliver the ROI we need?" Matt's heart sank. The moment felt like it could tip one way or the other. "It's not just about the numbers," he replied, keeping his voice steady despite the rising pressure. "It's about creating a legacy. This festival isn't just a one-time event. It can transform how our community sees us and itself. It can show that we care, that we're invested in people, not just profit." A hush fell over the room. He felt exposed, feeling all eyes bore into him. Finally, a soft voice broke the tension. "What if we approached it as a corporate social responsibility initiative?" Erin, the newest board member, suggested, an unexpected glimmer in her eyes. "We could create partnerships with local businesses, feature their services at the festival. There's potential here beyond what Matt has just outlined. It could be a win-win." Matt's heart leapt. Could this be it? A shift born from his passion? As discussions began swirling around him, Matt caught Sarah's gaze across the room through the glass walls. She smiled encouragingly, and suddenly, he felt a surge of strength all over again. He belonged to this. He was making a difference. Just when Matt thought they were turning a corner, someone interjected skeptically, "But do we have the budget for any risk?" "Investing in community is not a risk, it's an opportunity," Matt blurted out impulsively. "If we say no, we risk losing everything." He clenched his fist, a fire igniting within him. He wanted to fight for this. As the conversation heated, he could feel the tides shifting. Would they embrace his vision or walk away? Would he win over these gatekeepers of possibility, or would uncertainty swallow him whole? And then it struck him, what if this wasn't just about the festival? What if this fight was ultimately about his own identity? The meeting was still unfolding, but Matt's mind raced ahead. If he could muster the courage now, what heights could he reach? What impact could he truly make? As questions loomed, the uncertainty bubbled to the surface. Would they rise to the occasion, or would this battle be in vain? The moment began to feel electric, the kind that could alter the course of his life forever. The room was alive with voices, each opinion rising and falling like waves crashing on rock. Matt could feel the buzz of excitement around him, a mixture of skepticism and possibility. He leaned against the conference table, heart pounding, waiting for the tides to settle, waiting for an opportunity to steer the conversation back to hope. "Let's look at it from a different angle," Erin suggested, her voice steady and firm, drawing everyone's attention. "This festival could serve as a platform for our local economy, helping small businesses flourish. It creates brand visibility, builds loyalty, and fosters community spirit. Isn't that worth considering?" Matt's hope ignited again, fueled by Erin's words. He nodded along as she spoke, feeling the energy shift in his favor. Perhaps this wasn't just about him. It was about all those families and local businesses depending on something more than profit margins. Maybe this festival could be the spark they needed. Mr. Barnes rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "That sounds compelling, but it all depends on execution. Do we have a detailed plan? A safety net?" Matt cleared his throat, his mind racing. "We can engage local organizations and city officials to help with logistics. Plus, with social media, we can generate excitement well in advance." The confidence, surprisingly, felt natural when he spoke of community involvement. It was a dream he had nurtured for so long. As conversations circled around potential obstacles and solutions, Matt caught a glimpse of Sarah again. She smiled, her warm gaze bringing him a steadying reassurance. Each time their eyes met, he felt as if a surge of energy flowed between them, solidifying his resolve. He let her presence anchor him. He was more than just a voice in the room, he was a connector of dreams, a fighter for the town he loved. "I believe this is the future," Matt asserted as more ideas bounced through the room. He felt emboldened. "If we take this leap, we won't just gain a festival, we'll create a movement." His words hung in the air. The board exchanged glances, the skepticism in their eyes softening slightly. Suddenly, someone else spoke up. It was Tom, the firm's finance director. "I think we can allocate a small budget as a trial." Cheers of encouragement erupted, and the tension began to melt away like morning mist. They brainstormed new ideas, discussing partnerships with schools, plans for attracting sponsors, and volunteers eager to help. Matt's heart soared. This energy, the collective enthusiasm, they were becoming something more than a board meeting. They were becoming allies in something far greater. As laughter broke out and laughter began to fill the air, a deep-seated joy bubbled up inside him. Maybe they could pull this off. Minutes felt like seconds, and as the session wound down, someone suggested a meeting with local businesses to scout interest. The mood shifted to one of hope and ambitious optimism. As Matt looked at his colleagues, a thought crashed into his mind. What if, along with the festival, something bigger was waiting around the corner? A desire to connect deeper, to root his own identity further in the community he loved. He glanced at Sarah again, instinctively aware that she had been silently rooting for him. But then he froze. Was it just a dream, or was that glimmer in her eyes hinting at something more profound? Had Matt even allowed himself to consider what a partnership beyond work could look like? The gavel dropped as the meeting ended, but Matt's heart raced with questions that needed answers. What was brewing here? Was this a moment of awakening? With a mix of hope and uncertainty fueling his pulse, he suddenly felt the entire weight of the world he had just begun to navigate. As the board members filed out, he felt drawn to Sarah. He took a step forward, the spotlight of possibility buzzing around him. But would he have the courage to explore it, or would he retreat into the safe bounds of their professional relationship? Today was only the beginning. As the last member of the board slipped out of the room, Matt hesitated. The buzz that filled the air moments ago now left a silence heavy with potential. He glanced at Sarah, who was gathering her belongings, the lines of her smile still lingering. For a heartbeat, the world around him faded. The festival was more than just a plan, it was a pathway to something much deeper. "Hey, Sarah?" Matt called out, his voice spilling into the quiet like a tentative wave. She turned, eyebrows raised, curious. "Yeah?" He took a breath, feeling the weight of his intentions. "I think we should talk about all this. The festival and maybe more." Her gaze lit up, but then a flicker of uncertainty crossed her face. "More? Like what?" Matt stepped closer, the tension between them electric. "I don't know yet. But this festival, it could be a chance for us to connect with the community in ways we've never imagined." Sarah put her bag down. "You really believe that?" "More than I've believed in anything in a long time," he confessed, feeling an urgency he couldn't quite explain. "But it's not just the festival, it's about us. I feel something here, Sarah." The air thickened between them. Matt's heart raced. Would she feel it too? Or would his admission crumble into awkwardness? She began, but the uncertainty in her voice made Matt's stomach drop. But just then, someone knocked on the door. They both turned, breaking the moment. It was Erin, her smile bright and oblivious to the tension. "Hey, I just wanted to chat about the next steps. I think we should brainstorm tomorrow about community outreach." Matt nodded, pushing away the swirl of emotions that had just surfaced. "Absolutely. We'll meet at the cafe?" "Perfect." Erin beamed before disappearing down the hall. Matt turned back to Sarah, and that brief moment felt like smoke slipping through his fingers. "I really want to talk to you about this. About us. Let us meet up later, okay?" She suggested softly, her eyes now filled with a mix of hope and caution. "After we digest everything?" He swallowed, not wanting to let go but also not wanting to pressure her. "Sure, I'll text you." As they parted, Matt felt a blend of fire and dread, the two emotions looping in his chest. The day's excitement over the festival felt small next to the enormity of what was unfolding between them. What if he bared his heart and it fell short? Yet, as he walked toward the exit, something shifted deep within him. The festival was just the beginning, but it was intertwined with the fear of what could happen if he opened up to Sarah fully. Later that evening, as he reviewed notes and ideas in his small apartment, Matt's phone buzzed. A message from Sarah. "How about 7 at the corner cafe? We can talk about what's next." Hope surged through him. This was what he wanted, an opportunity to explore not just the future of the festival, but the future of them. That night, sleep eluded him. What would he say? How could he navigate both the complexities of their working relationship and the undeniable pull they shared? The more he thought about it, the more tangled up his emotions became. In the quiet of his thoughts, as doubt drifted like shadows, he knew the conversation ahead could transform everything. Tomorrow would be pivotal not just for the festival, but for the two of them. At sunrise, he stood by the window, watching the sky shift colors. He understood now that risking his heart could lead to something beautiful, or it could tear everything apart. Was he ready to take that chance? He exhaled, feeling the weight of the moment as he prepared to meet her. But what if the realization of their partnership pushed them both towards something more significant than either intended? Tomorrow couldn't come soon enough. The sun hung lower in the sky, casting warm golden rays that painted the corner cafe in a cozy glow. Matt arrived early, the familiar scent of fresh coffee calming his nerves as he took a seat at their usual table. He fiddled with the orange and blue festival flyers sprawled across the wooden surface, his mind running wild. Today held the weight of 1,000,000 unspoken words. At 6:55, his heart began to race. He sipped his water, eyeing the door. Each time it creaked open, hope sparked, only to fizzle out when it was someone else. Every minute dragged on like an hour. Was he trying to prepare for a festival meeting or a confession of his feelings? Maybe both. Then, Sarah walked in, her smile contagious, instantly lighting up the room. She looked around, her eyes searching before landing on him. He stood, their gazes connecting, and in that moment, the noise of the cafe faded away, leaving just the two of them. "Hey," she said, her voice warm and sincere. "Hey," he replied, his stomach flipping as she approached. They settled into their seats, the awkwardness of the earlier conversation hovering like a specter. "How was your day?" she asked, pulling her notebook out. "Good. Just worked on some ideas for the festival," he responded, trying to sound casual. He couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't here just to discuss work. "Me too," she said, glancing at her notes. Then she looked up, biting her lip, and the moment hung between them. "Sarah," he started, hesitating. Would he ruin this by being open? But there was something in her eyes that urged him forward. "About what we talked about yesterday, I really mean it. The festival is important, but it's about more than that for me. I think we could be something more." A flicker of surprise crossed her face, quickly overshadowed by vulnerability. "Matt, then," their server approached, breaking their moment. "Can I get you anything else?" Just another round of coffee, please," Matt said, his voice strained. As the server walked away, Sarah looked down, her fingers tapping nervously on the table. "I don't want to complicate things. We're doing something great together," and she paused, struggling to find the right words. "What if things change?" Matt leaned closer, his pulse quickening. "Yeah, what if they do? But change can be beautiful, right? What if we are meant to be more than partners in this? Don't you feel the connection?" "Sometimes, yes," she admitted softly, eyes glistening. "But what if it doesn't work out? I can't just throw my heart into this without knowing." Matt's heart sank. He understood her fear. They had built something meaningful, but here he was, inching closer with no guarantee it wouldn't shatter. "I get that. But isn't it worth exploring? We won't know unless we try." Sarah looked up, her expression shifting. "You really believe that?" "I do." His heart shouted in agreement. But I also know how scary it is to open up. For a moment, silence enveloped them, weighty with possibility. The world around them faded again, leaving only the notion of taking a leap of faith. The door chimed, a reminder of reality, and the moment broke. She glanced around, then back at him, her voice a whisper. "Can we just take it slow? Figure it out as we go?" He nodded, relief washing over him. "Of course. Let us figure it out together. One step at a time." Although he felt a glimmer of hope, the question still lingered in his mind: could love grow from the foundation they had built? Or would it topple amid the uncertainty of their new desires? As they sipped coffee, exchanging shy smiles, Matt wondered what this meant for their future both personally and for the festival. And as he watched her laugh, he felt the thrill of possibility. Tomorrow, together, they could shift the course of their lives. But would the pull of their partnership prove stronger than their fears? The festival would be a test not just for the community but for the two of them as they navigated uncharted territory. What awaited them beyond their tentative admissions? As the sun dipped below the horizon, spilling hues of purple and orange into the evening sky, the corner cafe began to shift. The chatter of patrons softened, creating an intimate cocoon around Matt and Sarah. They were no longer just two colleagues discussing festival plans, they were stepping cautiously into a new territory laden with unspoken feelings. "Okay," Sarah said finally, breaking the momentary silence. "So what's the first step in this figuring it out?" Her tone was playful, but he detected a tremor of uncertainty. Matt smiled, feeling a surge of affection. "Well, we could brainstorm some festival ideas. You know the whole point is to unite the community, right? Let us start by making sure we're on the same page." She nodded, gratefully accepting the distraction. "I love that. We should focus on more activities that could bring families together. Maybe a talent show?" "A talent show?" he echoed, a grin breaking across his face. "That's genius. Picture it, bright lights, music, laughter. We could showcase local talent. Even get a food truck or two to join in. Well, we could collaborate with local spots. Everybody wins." Sarah's excitement grew, and for a moment, the weight of their earlier conversation evaporated. They brainstormed ideas, bouncing thoughts back and forth like an easy rhythm. Each suggestion added a layer to their connection, allowing them to explore the depths of their partnership without the pressure of addressing their feelings. But soon, Matt noticed a shift in Sarah's demeanor. She became slightly more distant as if the reality of their conversation had sunk back in. The laughter faded, and he could see the worry dancing in her eyes. "Hey," he said gently, reaching across the table to cover her hands with his. "Are you okay?" She sighed, looking down at their joined hands. "I'm excited about the festival, I really am. But there's also this worry gnawing at me." "What do you mean?" He leaned in closer, concerned. "What if everyone doesn't understand us? What if we stop working as partners? You know how things get complicated." She trailed off, her voice soft and hesitant. Matt fought to suppress the knot in his stomach. He knew there were risks, but he also felt that moving forward was essential. "We're already navigating some complexity, Sarah. Life is like that. Every great partnership has layers, right? We can change the narrative." "No, you're right. I need time," she murmured, peeking up at him. "Time is good. I'm all in for that," he assured her, trying to hold on to the hope that was building. Just then, the door swung open with a crash, pulling their attention. An excited group of festival volunteers entered, brimming with energy. "Did someone say food trucks? We'll take a taco truck," one shouted, instantly breaking the heavy tension. Matt and Sarah exchanged curious glances, their previous discussion momentarily forgotten. "Looks like brainstorming is contagious." Matt chuckled, the ambience around them changing once more as laughter erupted. While the noise swirled around them, he turned to Sarah. "Shall we join them? It could help ease the pressure." "Yeah, let us do it." She smiled, but he could see an unreadable expression in her eyes. As they stood up, Matt felt a flutter of excitement mixed with apprehension about the future. Would their partnership survive the roller coaster of emotions and fears? He couldn't help but feel that they stood on the edge of something big, both for the festival and for what lay ahead in their hearts. As they mingled with the newcomers, the pressure of their earlier conversation lingered in the air. The festival was just days away, and they weren't just prepping for a community event. They were gearing up for something much more personal, like an uncharted frontier waiting to be explored. But would they come out on the other side stronger, or would unresolved doubts unravel everything? In the buzzing atmosphere of the cafe, Matt couldn't shake the feeling that the real test lay just beyond the walls of the festival, and their burning desire to uncover what their connection truly meant. How could they harness hope amid fear? What awaited them as they stepped forward into the unknown together? The festival day dawned bright and clear, the sun spilling golden rays over the bustling city. Matt stood in the park, heart racing with anticipation as he surveyed the vibrant scene. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze, food trucks lined the pathways, and laughter rang out like music. Families strolled by, their faces lit with joy and curiosity, the air thick with the smell of popcorn and fresh tacos. This was the moment that could change everything. But amid the excitement, Matt felt the weight of his emotions. He was here to celebrate the community, yes, but he was also here to unravel the layers between him and Sarah. Their tentative steps towards something more still echoed in his mind. Would this day solidify their partnership or expose cracks too deep to mend? As he adjusted the microphone for the opening speech, he scanned the crowd, searching for her. Then he saw her, a whirl of energy and grace, engaging with kids and volunteers, silky hair dancing in the sunlight. She caught his eye, a radiant smile brightening her face, and he felt the tight knot in his chest loosen slightly. Maybe today would bring clarity. The festival kicked off with local bands playing joyful tunes, and Sarah emerged to greet the crowd, her enthusiasm infectious. Kids scampered past him, carrying colorful balloons, and he remembered the weight of responsibility that lay beyond the fun. The community center was at stake. This event had to showcase the heart of the community, enough to rally support against the looming threat of development. After he finished his speech, Sarah found him backstage, her eyes sparkling. "You were amazing." The crowd loved it. She squeezed his hand, and in that moment, it felt like everything clicked. "Thanks. But it's not just on me. This is our collective effort." He looked deep into her eyes, feeling the urgency to speak what remained unspoken. "Sarah, I know we both want this. But this festival, it's more than just a fighting chance for the community. It's our chance too to discover what this connection really means." Her expression softened, but a flicker of uncertainty lingered. "What if this day goes flawlessly, but after it, we still don't figure it out us? Then we'll figure it out together, one step at a time," he promised, determination flooding his voice. Just then, the sound of cheers erupted around them as a town mascot, a big fluffy dog, brought the crowd to life. Sarah chuckled, momentarily distracted by the chaos, and they both jumped into the fray. He watched her engage with people, her laughter woven into the fabric of the festivity. This was what she thrived on, the community she fought to protect. And it transformed something inside him, the void he always felt shrank into insignificance. The day stretched on with games, laughter, and the realization of shared dreams. As dusk approached, the park glowed with string lights, and families gathered for the final performance. Their hands brushed together again, igniting sparks of connection. As the last act wrapped up, Matt grabbed Sarah's hand and led her to a quieter corner. Heart racing, he faced her, the air thick with expectation. "Today showed me something incredible. It's more than just a festival, it's proof of what happens when we work together. And I want to work together with you beyond this, beyond everything." Her gaze held an intensity that made his breath hitch. But we have challenges ahead, Matt. What if we falter? I can't bear the thought of complicating what we've built. He took a step closer, his voice steady and filled with conviction. Life is a series of chances. We already took a leap today with this festival. Let us not shy away from taking a leap forward with each other. Every step counts, even the stumbles. In that moment, the tension fell away, replaced by something brighter. Sarah stepped into him, and when she spoke, her voice was thick with emotion. Okay. Let us see where this can take us. Their lips met, and in that electrifying moment, he felt fireworks explode inside him. Everything that had been holding them back melted away. It was a promise, a commitment to their dreams, their community, and to each other. As they pulled apart, wrapped in a fragile warmth, laughter bubbled around them again. Families were celebrating, and the festival had turned into something greater than they ever imagined. I think the festival is a success, Sarah said, a smile spreading wide. Matt grinned, pulling her closer as the first stars peeked through the twilight sky. And so is this. Together, we're unstoppable. With that realization, Matt felt the winds of change swirl around them. They had ignited a new beginning, not just for the community but for what they could build together. The future glittered like the skyline, promising adventures and love, and he was ready to embrace it all. And as they stepped back into the festival glow, hand in hand, the world seemed to hum with possibility, the kind that only comes when hearts are open, and the spirit of community shines bright. Now, you have traveled with us through Matt and Sarah's journey. If you enjoyed their story, you need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive narratives that will inspire and uplift you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others discover these heartwarming tales. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. We want to hear what this story meant to you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. True fans know the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Let's connect hearts together.